Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the stream. All right. I've been having technical difficulties almost every week. First it was the mic a couple times, then my restream app stopped working. I changed the title of this Sunday class to not sponsored by Restream. So hopefully all is working on both Twitch and YouTube. Speaking of, hello Twitch, hello YouTube. Thank you. Yes, so today is a fiery class. I appropriately dressed the part. These are also my favorite pair of sweatpants ever. So we're gonna flow and do some spicy stuff today. And spicy in a way that may not be how you expect it to be. Pilates spicy can look a lot of different ways. Some people would just say baseline Pilates is spicy. But there's a lot of very minute details that we can play with to enhance the intensity of the workout. So we'll go back and forth, and I have a little audience participation later on in class today. So you all will get to vote on a section of our class and what we do, what the theme of it's going to be. So that should be fun. So I'm going to finish this caffeine and start my spiel. So if you're new to this stream, hi, my name's Sarah. I'm a certified Pilates teacher and a certified geek, if you can't tell from my background. I have been teaching Pilates for, it'll be 5 years next month, which I just realized, which is pretty amazing. I have loved Pilates for over half my life, and I love sharing it with you all on Twitch and YouTube. So, no worries, we will, I think this is going to be, we'll mix it up for you, and maybe we'll do some quad stretching at the end. So, you know, we are going to do it. We're not maybe going to do it. We are going to do it. So, let's do that. So yes, I'm a certified Pilates teacher. I've been teaching online for a very long time during the pandemic as well, and continuing into now. I love teaching online, and I love throwing in different elements to my class. One of those things is Cos Pilates, so that's a special series I do. It combines my love of cosplay and my love of Pilates, and we put them all into one. So I sequence a class inspired by a character from anime, from video games, from other pop culture franchises, checking my audio, and I dress up in a costume because you've got to dress up in a costume for Cos Pilates, and then we do a themed class. This month is going to be Final Fantasy VII, because I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy, but also because the second part of the remake comes out, and we have to celebrate that. So I just played the demo last night with my partner, and it was really cool, and it made me really excited for playing the full game. I've been a little worried about where the story is going to go, so I'm not totally optimistic, but I'm also comforted and excited by what I played last night. So don't know if anyone else played it, but I think it's really cool. And if you know the original story or played the original game, there's a lot of cool elements that they've incorporated in, and they made a lot of good decisions. That's what I'll say. There were a lot of good decisions made in this demo, which I can't say for certain things. Kingdom Hearts 4. No, just kidding. That we don't want to start a Kingdom Hearts thing in the comments. That's for another time. We're here to do Pilates. So stay tuned for Cos Pilates Final Fantasy VII later on this month. I will provide updates to that on my Instagram account and my TikTok account, which is at Move with Sarah, and you can follow me there for any schedule changes. So for today's class, my spiel for this class, this is an open level class, which means if you've done Pilates before, or this is your first time taking class, this is a class for you. So I provide modifications to advance the exercises and modifications to simplify. Listen to your body, meet yourself where it's at today. Finding your edge and pushing yourself and challenging yourself is one thing. Pain is not what we want, and pushing through pain is something we absolutely never want, period. So if at any point you feel pain, pause and either join us in the next exercise or take a modification that I will provide. Meet your body where it's at. I have days where I wake up and I feel super strong and incredible, and then I have days where I wake up and it feels like I've never worked out a day in my life. So all of that is valid. Our bodies are affected by so many things. It's more complex than, it's not a black and white system. We have so many things that influence how we feel and how we move. So just meet yourself where you're at today, and don't forget to have fun, because at the end of the day, we're flopping around on a mat on the floor. So always have fun when you're taking class. So with that, let's get started. I know I'm a little late today because of my technical difficulty, so my apologies, but we may run a little over, so I hope that's okay. But let's get started. So we're going to start lying down on our mat, and we're going to set up some shoulder bridging to start. This will be a good way to get some extension through the hips, connect us with our posterior chain, and help us find some gentle spinal flexion before we really kick it off into some spicy things. So I'm just going to do this to avoid a wardrobe malfunction. And so here we go. We set up lying down on the mat. You'll bring your feet inner hip width distance apart, finding the bony landmarks of your hips and following that line down. So that's a little narrower than, say, the width of our silhouette, which will be a little wider. Want to find a more narrow position here. Your knees are not coming together, they're not opening up. Let's set up that neutral spine position. I want you to feel your tailbone, the bottommost part of your spine, heavy into the mat and have a little bit of reach towards your heels. From there, feel your front body start to draw down towards your back body. If you have a seam on your shirt that runs down your sides, you want to think of everything in the front drawing down. Looking to the back, we feel the bottom tips of the ribs draw down towards the floor. This is going to give us that core engagement and provide us a little bit of lift in the lower back, which is what we need for our neutral spine position. Your upper body is long and soft. Take the tension out of your throat, relax the tops of the shoulders, and just feel your collarbones get really wide here. You want a lot of space and air in the upper body. Let's move into our shoulder bridge. So from here, we're going to tuck our tail, draw your waist down to bring your pubic bone up to the ceiling. From here, squeeze your glutes, begin to reach your knees over your toes and peel your spine off the mat like a sticker into your shoulder bridge. Now we're not looking for a U shape in this bridge in our top position here. We want to find more of a diagonal spine. So thinking that your pubic bone is lining up with the bottom of your breastbone. You're still going to feel a little bit of the abs drawing down and the pelvis lifting up. And you're going to find that nice stable position through there. So finding that long diagonal line, slowly lower your spine down. Get that upper back down first. Lower back comes after your middle back, and then your tailbone comes last. That was a weird way to say that because the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Let's try that again slow. You're going to draw your pubic bone up to the ceiling. Feel your abs draw down and your navel almost slide up towards your sternum as you peel your spine off the mat. Find that long line and then slowly take it all the way down. Let's take that one more time and then we add on. Tuck your tail, lift your hips, and let's hang out at the top here for a moment. From here, lift your arms up to the ceiling. So now we've taken away the stability point of our arms. So really squeeze your glutes, reach your knees over your toes, and draw your abs down. From here, reach the arms back to frame your ears. and then bring the arms back to the ceiling. Reach your arms back and bring them back up to the ceiling. This time reach them back, bring them all the way down to the floor, and then slowly peel your spine down to the mat. So we have that isometric hold where we're holding the bridge up in the air, and then we're getting a little shoulder mobility in there. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift up and hold. Peel up into your bridge and hold. This time, full range of motion. Arms go as far back as you can without changing the height of your hips, and bring them back to tap your mat. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, tap your mat. 2 more times. And tap. Last time. Bring the arms all the way down. Peel your spine all the way down. Right away, we lift our right leg up to tabletop. We bring our left leg up to tabletop. Bring your shins parallel to the floor. Hug your knees together. And from here, we take an inhale. Exhale, our head, neck, and shoulders curl up into our Pilates curl position. So just the tips of the shoulder blades are down. We don't want to go higher. We tend to tuck the tail when we go higher, and that's what we don't want. Lower all the way down, lift your arms to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Take an inhale at the top. Exhale, lower down. This last time we curl up and hold. From here, we do the same arms as we did in our bridge. Reach your arms back, but stay up in your curl. Bring them back to a hover. Reach the arms back, curl your arms through your shoulders, and bring it back in. 2 more times. And in. Last time. And in. Lower all the way down. Quick hug of the knees into your chest. Final warm up here, we add our march. Option here to up the ante a little bit. You can keep the arms floating by your hips if you'd like, or stack your hands behind your head and lose the arms by your side. This is going to be a little more challenging because you have to keep your shoulders in place. It can knock us around a little bit. If all of this is too hard and you're like, Sarah, I can't even lift my head up, all good. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders down and just take a smaller range of motion in our march. So if at any point it's hard to keep your head, neck, and shoulders up, you can always drop that down to the mat. So find your arms by your side, your hands stacked behind your head, or keep your head, neck, and shoulders down. Bring your legs to your tabletop position, and on your next exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Flex your feet. You'll lengthen your thigh bones long. Maybe the heel taps the mat, maybe not, and lift it up. The key with the march is that the thigh bones stay long. So we're not bending at the knee to bring the heel down. You're reaching your thigh bone long and away from you and bringing it up. So anything below the knee is not changing. And lower, scoop the abs to lift. Let's go 2 more. Last time. Bend your knees, lower down. You get 2 preps before we go into the 100. We're going to snap right into our shape here. So, as we've mentioned in classes before, the higher and the closer the legs are to you, the less challenging this is. So when you're looking to find where's a good challenge point, I personally like to find where I find a position where I know that I can hold it for at least 60-70% of the time, and then play with it from there. So that might be for you straight up to the ceiling. It might be, if you're more advanced, hovering off the floor. It might just be in tabletop for now because the 100's really hard. So either way, we're going to find that position a couple times, and we're going to add a little extra spicy things in for these flame pants today in our 100. So on your next exhale, you'll curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Arms will float by your hips. Your legs will shoot out to your working level. I'm going to play with a couple of different positions here. And then lower back down. Second time, take an inhale. Exhale, find another shape for your 100. And bring it back in. This last one, we go for our full 100. So I'm going to go floating to a hover today. I recommend don't do that. Maybe start, if you want to start with the legs to the ceiling and then slowly work your way down. Here we go. Find your 100. Start to pump. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So we're going to play with a couple things here once we get to the halfway part. Don't worry, I'm counting. All right, here we go. So wherever you're at, on your next inhale, lower your right leg down a little and lift it back up. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. Last time, both legs lower a little. And lift. Hold your position at the top. Can you reach your legs longer? Can you curl up a little higher for 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees in, you're done. Holy moly, rock yourself side to side. Take a little stir in the hip joint. How we doing? Amazing. All right, right away we move into our roll up. Legs are gonna come long. If this is your first time, you can open your legs a little more and bend your knees, or you can work them zipped together. Arms are gonna come up to the ceiling. Take an inhale here. Exhale. We come through our Pilates curl. Lift up and over as you come up. And then take your C curve shape all the way back. Your C curve comes at your waist, not from slouching the shoulders forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll up. And dive forward. Find a little lift here in your C curve, especially in roll up. We want to feel a lift away from the floor. So we don't sink to create that C. It's that lift up and over. As we curl up, we round up and over an imaginary wheel. And then come all the way back down. All right, it's time for a little challenge. You can continue to do these next 3 reps just as you have been, or I've got 2 options for you. Arms to the ceiling, where we started. Bring them slightly back so that they frame your ears and try to keep your arms there the whole time. The other option is to bring those hands stacked behind your head again. We're going to see this later when we do neck pull, but that's your little teaser, no pun intended, for later. So I will demo both. So we'll start with the biceps framing the ears. On your next exhale, roll up. Keep your arms there as you dive forward. And now the dismount is the hard part. Keep reaching the fingertips to the ceiling. Slowly come down bone by bone, keeping the arms by your ears. Take an inhale. Exhale. Curl through your arms like a picture frame. We just did this in warm up. And slowly come all the way down. I'll do one with the hands behind the head. Last time. Exhale. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing's underrated. And you're done. From here, arms come long down by your side. Point your right toe. Find a lot of reach through this leg. We're going to take it up to the ceiling, flex the foot, lower down, tap the heel. Point and reach. Flex, lower down, and tap. Last time, point, reach, hold it up to the ceiling. Turn out the inner thigh, find some external rotation. We take the leg across, around and up. The smaller the circle, the easier it is to control. One more in this direction, hold at the top. If you want a challenge, arms lift away, you've lost a stability point. Take the leg out, around and up. How far can it go out without lifting the hips? 2 more times. Last time. Flex that foot, lengthen it all the way down to the mat. We go to the other side. Point your left foot up to the ceiling. Flex, reach, lower it down. Point, lengthen to lift. Flex, lengthen to lower. This time, point, lift it all the way up. We find that external rotation. 4 times across, around and up. Inhale, across, around, exhale, lift up. Last 2. Last time. Now, if you'd like it the challenge, remove the arms, take it out, around, cross and lift it up. Inhale, out, around, exhale, lift up. 2 more times. Keep drawing the bottom tips of the ribs down. Flex your foot, lengthen to lower it down. Bring your arms down by your side. We're gonna play with a little fun, we're gonna do our neck pull now. I've decided, I've changed my mind. We're inspired here. So for our neck pull, you're going to separate your legs inner hip width distance apart. Now, neck pull is an intermediate exercise. This is not said to scare you, but there's going to be some added choreography to this. So from here, we're going to start with the level 1 version of neck pull, and then I'll work to the more advanced version, and then you can find what works for you today. Remember that roll up where we don't use our hands to get up? That's coming back. So you're going to stack your hands, bring it behind your head. You can take a little bend of the knees here if that feels good. You're going to take an inhale. On your next exhale, you're going to start to roll up to seated. If you can't make it, grab onto your thighs and help yourself get up. At the top, return the hands to your head and drop your head, drop your shoulders, give your neck a little stretch. Do not force anything here, just let gravity take it. Now you stack your spine all the way up to tall, find that long flat back, and then slowly take it back down, bone by bone. 2 more times. On your next exhale, roll up. If you need help, grab onto the thighs. We dive forward and stack it all the way up. Now either roll down, or if you want to up the ante, flat back hinge as far back as you can go. And then roll all the way down. I know, crazy. Take an inhale, final one. Exhale, roll up. Dive forward, stack your spine up. And then either hinge or roll all the way down. How far can I take this hinge? Oh my gosh. And slowly roll all the way down. All right, keep your hands stacked behind your head. Bend your knees into your chest. We're set up for an ab series. That's where I was going with this. All right, breathe easy here. Rock a little side to side. Stretch out. Get ready. I'm being nice this morning because we will be doing something spicy right now for our ab series. Let me scoot forward, do a little dance. See, when I say we truly flop around on the mat, look at me, I'm just flopping around. All right, cool. So, ab series. How can you do it if you can't get your legs straight? That's a good question. So, you can still roll through with your legs bent. So, I would say, if it's difficult with your legs bent, use your hands to help you. So, as you curl up, instead of gripping your legs and climbing up, kind of slide your arms up your legs. And it's less about getting your legs straight to do it, because I can also do it with my legs pretty bent. It's more about it's all about using your abs to get yourself up. So use your arms to help you to a little bit. Oh, cool, fabulous. Yeah, so I would wherever your legs are doesn't change how you get up or down or how you do the exercise. So that's what's really nice about these movements too, is that you can always work to get the legs straight. Always go back to the core. I know for a lot of these exercises too, there's a lot that's happening. We have legs spinning in circles or arms and legs coming off the mat. Sometimes we're doing bilateral things where we've got one leg up and one arm away, and it can be really, it can be very overwhelming when we do certain exercises because there's a lot of elements to them and there's a lot to think about. I know for me teaching, there's so many different, it's overwhelming as a teacher too, because it can be, where do I start? There's so many things that I can cue and encourage you all to focus on, which is really exciting. And what makes Pilates so timeless is that we have so many things we can focus on and think about, but it also makes it really overwhelming. So I always tell my clients as well, always go back to your core. If at any point you're thinking about different elements and you feel lost or not quite sure where you need your focus to be, bring it back to your center. And your Pilates principles. Am I using my abs to initiate the movement? Am I controlling the movement? Am I being detail oriented in that control? So am I just throwing my body around, or am I using my neck to get me up and not my abs? So always come back to that center and to that core, no pun intended, but that's always helpful to me too when, especially when I started taking more advanced classes. It's really interesting how important doing more fundamental work is, because that really is the core of the exercise. So I hope that helps. Cool, I'm glad that helped. Yeah, there's certain exercises that they're technically part of the classical system, and I'm watching people do, I'm like, is this even Pilates anymore? It's like Cirque du Soleil. So I always find myself, when I start to advance my practice, going back to those principles, because yeah, things can get wild. And maybe it'd be fun to do a stream where I demo some pretty weird exercises that don't normally get taught in class, because there's some weird ones, let me tell you. And I love doing the weird stuff. But let's do the spicy stuff right now. So let's do our ab series. So we were lying down. I was lying down, but now I'm eyeing the remainder of my coffee and I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I love weird stuff. It's funny when I teach in person and I have a client that might tell me like, oh, let's do some weird stuff. And I tell them, you might regret that. Because I'm going to give you the weirdest stuff. It's always a ride. All right, let's do our single leg stretch. So if what I'm going to demo is too spicy, you can always bring your arms to float by your sides. This is going to be baseline for this ab series, or your hands will come behind your head and stay there. And that's what I'm going to demo today. Hands behind the head is always going to be a little more challenging. So I will do a couple reps doing both, but always start with the arms by your side or in any other starting position that I'll get everyone in. So let's do our single leg stretch. You're going to curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. You're going to stretch your left leg long and bend your right knee into your chest. Now draw your abs down and up towards your sternum. And how close can you get that knee to you and stretch that other leg long? Now really slow. This is the spicy part. We transition and we find that same reach. And then slow motion. Switch. And switch. 3 more times. Feel how that deep scoop of your abs moves your leg closer to your face. 1 more time. Bend your knees in and lower down. We go right into that double leg stretch. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. From here, your arms and legs reach away from each other. We take an inhale in this position. Exhale, everything comes back in. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, bring it back in. We're going to hold for a moment out. Hold the shape. And bring it in. Last time. And bring it in. Lower down. All right, scissors. We're going to start with classic scissors and then we're going to add on. So we'll all meet with one hand behind our right leg behind the thigh, calf, or ankle. Never grab behind the knee. From here, that left leg is going to scissor to 45 degrees. This is a good start position. The lower, the more challenging. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. You're going to pulse that leg that you're holding towards you. Slow motion transition. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Pulse, pulse, and switch. For 4, and 3, and 2. Last time, bring your legs in and lower down. So now that we've done that, now we're going to do it without our arms. So we have to get those pulses in without using our arms. So arms will float by your side or come behind your head. On your next exhale, curl up, legs come up to the ceiling. Find your scissor position. Leg comes in twice and scissor switch. Pulse, pulse. And your legs can be bent here, just as long as you keep the thigh bones nice and long. Pulse, pulse. Draw your abs down, down to bring the leg in closer. Down, down. For 3, and 2. Last time. Lower, down. That one always breaks me out into a sweat, and it's happening right now. Sweat guaranteed. All right, lower lift. Lower lift's just hard, so we're not going to add anything to it. You can keep your arms floating by your side or bring your hands behind your head. Classically, in the beginner system, lower lift is done with the hands behind the head. But if you're not feeling that today, you don't have to do it. All is valid. Same thing with the legs. If the legs are a little bent, that's totally fine, or bent a lot. It's more important that you have that hinge from your hip. So there's a big difference between bending the knees and lowering the legs like this versus lengthening the legs away from you like this. We want that reach away, long thigh bone. So that's the feeling that you want to have. And you can find that whether your legs are super bent or your legs are super straight. That's what we're aiming for. We're going to do 4 of these, and I will demo different legs as we do them. So you're going to curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Find your legs at your working level. You're going to lower to 45 degrees. And then keep your lift as high as you can as the legs come up. Lower the legs to 45 degrees. And then ab scoop to lift up. Lower to 45 degrees. And lift up. Last time, lower. And lift. Bend your knees, lower down. We're on to crisscross. You're going to bring your feet down to start. We're going to work a little bit of a fundamental here with our crisscross. And I like to do this for myself as well, because sometimes I find with the legs moving, I kind of lose that connection to the center. So we're going to start here and work our way up. So feet will be inner hip width distance apart as we've been working today. Hands will stack behind your head. So we'll all meet here regardless of Pilates experience. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up, and we're going to come a little higher than we usually do. So try and find a little bit more of a lift. Keep your head heavy in your hands and really scoop like you've got an ice cream scooper coming through your center. From here, take your right armpit, twist it towards your left knee. Now hold. Can you lift that bottom shoulder blade up a little more without taking the hip with you? This is where we get that deep twist and that deep oblique work. Come back through center, lower down. Try it again. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Twist your armpit towards your knee, and then reach up, trying to keep the hips down. Come back through center and lower down. So this is all about twisting at the waist without taking the hips with you. So if you feel yourself rocking on your hips, try to stabilize that a little more. Easier said than done, I know. So let's move a little faster in this position. Curling your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold. We twist towards the right. Stay high in your curl to twist to the other side. Come back through center, twist. And back through center, twist. 2 more times. Last time, lower down. Now you can stay here or add the legs. So the legs that we just did in our single leg stretch, we bring into our crisscross. It's nice how the series of 5 kind of ends where it starts, but just a little spicier, like a fun grand finale of a show. All right, here we go. We're going to curl our head, neck, and shoulders up. We're going to have obliques of steel by the end of this class. Twist towards your right knee and stretch your left leg long. Keep those hips down. Come through center twist and through center twist and through center twist for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hug your knees in, lower down. Holy moly. You deserve a stretch. Extend your left leg long, take your right leg across your body, find a supine twist. This always feels good after crisscross. Maybe your shoulder lifts up. Who cares? We're not going for technique here. I just want you to find what feels good because you've been working really hard today and you deserve it. Pilates is not easy. I don't think easy exists in the Pilates vocabulary because when I really think about it, when you're ready, switch sides. When I really think about it, it's more about focus than difficulty. So for example, on the apparatus, like the reformer or the wonder chair, I get this question a lot where it's what's easier? And especially on the apparatus, there's nothing necessarily easier because more weighted exercises are difficult in one way, and then lighter weighted exercises are significantly more challenging in ways that I think are underrated. So it's interesting to try to convey that to people. But it's also something that I love about Pilates is that, kind of blurs that, you always have a challenge and you always have something you can explore and work on. And in a way, it's kind of freeing to not have those labels of easy, intermediate. It's kind of nice, and it makes me feel a little better about myself. Rock yourself up to seated. I'm getting real philosophical today. All right. So we're going to do a little spinal mobility across our other planes of motion. So grab a little water or caffeine. It's always so fun to hang out with you on Sunday mornings. That crisscross is such a fiery move. I've been doing Pilates so long, and every time I do crisscross, it always feels like the first time. There's something really exciting about that, but also something wild about it at the same time. So we will definitely stretch out our core after this as well. So we're gonna mix it up today, especially because we have yeah, the putting your weight more back into your hands really fires on your core because your head can kind of help you get up, and when you weigh it back a little bit, your core really has to fire on to get it up. I would just make sure that you're not physically pushing it back and just more letting it go into your hands so that you don't strain your neck, because we don't want that either. But I'm glad that it helped kind of up the ante on it. Cool. All right. From here, I know we have some tight hip flexors and quads in the chat, so we're going to mix up our side bend a little bit today. And our twisting. So we're not going to sit. We're actually going to kneel today for our twisting and our side bending. And this will feel a little nicer. It'll give us a little more extension in the front of the legs. And it's nice to change it up from sitting. So from here, same inner hip width distance apart. We're going to take our arms either out to the sides like a T, or you can bend at the elbows and bring your fingers to your shoulders. It depends on how much space you have. I'm going to do this because I have a feeling I'm going to whack my bookshelf behind me. So in this position, I'm going to turn to a side here. It's easy to kind of not find alignment here. Maybe we're here, maybe we're here, maybe we're here. You want to try and find that stack of your hips and your rib cage. So that may require a little bit of a pelvic tilt forward. So you can kind of see on this line on my pants here that when I scoop my abs in, I've kind of tilted my pelvis a little forward. I still have that natural curve in my spine. I've just taken the extremity out. I basically went from here to here. So there's still a curve in my lower back, but it's just not as extreme. And I've got a lot more length, and my core's firing on to keep me up. So when I let go, like this, I'm using no muscles. Now I'm more engaged. You'll feel a little bit of a glute squeeze here. It's not going to be like a death grip. That's kind of a funny thing to do on camera. A death grip of the glutes. You want this to come from your center. This is actually a good opportunity to practice that pelvic tilt here. So, in this position, bring your hands to your hips and then find that little pelvic tilt forward. You'll feel that front part of your hip crease soften and then release that. You can kind of see it in my hands. And release. Last time, try and think of your abs scooping back, like that ice cream scoop feeling, and you'll feel your pelvis draw a little forward. You should feel that your rib cage is stacked over your hips, kind of like concentric circles. From here, we'll bring our hands to our twist position. Now from here, we twist to the right, keeping the hips where they are. So now your head's not going to take you around. Your rib cage just turns you and then come back through center. Now we take a side bend here to the same side. So I twisted to the right, now I'm side bending to the right. Trying to keep even on both hips. So it's kind of easy to kind of take the weight over. I want you to find more center and think that you're scooping the side, kind of like we're scooping the center. And then twist to the left. And center. And side bend. And center. And twist to the right. And center. And lift up and over side bend. And center. And twist. And center. And side bend. And center. Last time twist. Center. Last time on each side. Just flowing through this. And center. Going to take a little side bend here. So we're going to find that action hero position that I've brought up before. Your right hand is going to come down to the floor and your left leg is going to stretch out long. Your toes will face the front of your mat. And now here, same feeling. Feel that pelvis draw forward, like you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. So you can even bring your hand to your hip to kind of see where you are. You should feel a lot of stretch through the side. You might feel a little extension through the front of the leg here. From here, we're just going to take this top arm up and over and lift the bottom ribs away. And then sweep the arm back to your start position. Sweep up and over. And bring it back. Last time, lift up and over. Come back through center. Option here, we're going to move into a side plank. You can either stay with the arm up or transition to your forearm side plank if that's what you're working on right now. If you want to go for it, we're going to just lift this bottom leg away from the floor and bring it to cross. And we're just going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Always count down, never count up, because we could count up forever. 2 and 1. Slowly bring your leg back to your start position. Transition back to your kneeling. All right, take it to the other side. Action hero position. Same thing, we want to find a long line and check in with your head. You want to have your head kind of like you have water draining out of your ear. So where my head is kind of what you're looking for. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be here. You kind of want to find that middle position here. It's very hard when you have a ponytail as heavy as mine. I am feeling this. So take your top arm up and over, lift your bottom ribs side bend, and then come back through center. This feels so good. And lift up and over. And then it's going to be so spicy when we do the side plank. Got to give both, right? Last time. Now option, transition to your side plank position. And then we're going to hold it for 10 seconds. Here we go. Take this on the forearm too. You don't have to do it this way. I should probably take it on the forearm. Because I love side planks, but man, they are spicy. You have 3 more seconds. 2 and 1. Come back to your kneeling position. All right. Quick shoulder stretch here. Take a couple shoulder circles. A little chest opener, whatever feels good. All right. How are we feeling? I'm actually going to open the floor. Do we have any special requests? Any special requests? I already have a poll that we're going to vote on. But anything that we want to do in our last third of class? My left side is significantly weaker in my side plank than my right. Significantly, which is crazy because I train them both. So I feel that. I was acting for the camera just now. I was feeling that too. All good. And that's okay. It's good to do these different types of movements to identify, what side's tighter than the other. And there's a lot of reasons why we're asymmetric, right? I know for a fact that there's like certain parts of my left side, even though I'm a righty, there's certain aspects of like my left side that are stronger than my right side, and it's solely because I carry groceries on that side. So like certain areas of my shoulder are just stronger than my right side, just because I like carry certain things or hold things in a different way on my left side. It's crazy how just those little changes totally affect, ooh, fabulous, totally affect our asymmetries. I love that you said Superman. Let's do Superman, because we're going to do extension now, and we'll do some Supermans, and we can walk through the Pilates way to Superman. It's funny, I've never done for Cos Pilates, I've never done a superhero. I've done One Punch Man, which is, for me, I'm a big anime fan, so that's a superhero to me. But if there's any superhero requests for Cos Pilates, I will take them. I'm definitely more of an anime girl, but that'd be fun to do like Spider-Man or Superman, or I don't know who's popular now. The MCU is just out of control, and I can't keep track of anyone anymore. There's also way too many Spider-Men. So yes, maybe I'll bring back One Punch Man for Cos Pilates if you're interested. That one was really fun. It was really hard, but it was so much fun. And we can listen to metal music while we do it. All right. Let's lie down. We're going to lie down on our stomach. There's no graceful way to get to your stomach. Take it from me. I've tried so many ways to like look more graceful lying down in this position, and I just feel like a total wah. So don't feel bad if you feel like you look insane. I think it just comes with the territory. So we're going to start with our swan prep, and then we'll build up into a full swan, Superman, super swan, and work that posterior chain. So we're going to start. with our hands stacked one on top of the other. And we're going to lower our forehead down to our hands. So for your legs, if this is your first time doing swan, or you just feel like you need a little more openness in your lower back, I always recommend starting with a wider stance, about the width of your mat. And then as we move through repetitions of this, play with narrowing your legs. The more narrow, the more challenging, because it really requires a lot more core strength to help support your lower back in that position. But play with it. Listen to your body, experiment. We're going to do a lot of these, so there'll be time to kind of play around with it within reason. No pain, remember? So we'll lower our forehead down to the mat. And now we're going to find our lift position. The first thing I want you to do is check in with those shoulders. I want you to set them down the back. So we don't want them shrugging up towards the ears. I want you to think less about the up and down movement of your shoulders and more about finding wide collarbones. When we think about that, we find not just the shoulders set into place on the back, but we also get the space between our shoulders and our ears without forcing the top of the shoulder down. Because that's something that we don't want, is to force anything into a position. So it's a softer way to kind of set our shoulders down our back. So think wide collarbones. You've got one hand, someone's got a hand on one collarbone, someone's got a hand on another, and they're pulling them away from each other. Not aggressively though, very nicely. Friendly pulling. From here, let's find our engagement. So I want you to imagine that you have a tack underneath your navel and you have to lift it away from the floor to not get pricked. So with that, you're going to start to draw your waist up off the floor and then release that. Try that again. Lift your navel away from the floor and then release that. From here, we add on. I want you to lift your navel away from the floor and then start to draw it up towards your sternum. So your abs are finding that deep ice cream scoop. So feel as if your navel is sliding up towards your sternum, and you'll notice that your pubic bone starts to press down to the mat more. Does this all sound familiar? We're finding that neutral spine on our stomach. So similar to what we did kneeling and similar to what we did laying down, we have that pubic bone pressing down so that the triangle of our hip points and our pubic bone are pressing into the mat, just gently. We're not forcing it, right? And it's coming from the scoop of our abs, not from the death grip of our glutes, not from pressing the quadriceps down. It comes from that lift and that scoop of the center that draws the pubic bone forward. So I want you to try to do this without squeezing your glutes. So feel the abs lift up and draw the pubic bone down. And try not to squeeze the glutes so that we can isolate that movement. Let's try that again. Lift the abs up, draw the pubic bone down, and release. It's a little different. We don't want to use our glutes as the prime movers here. They will fire on a little bit, and that's fine, but we don't want them to be the prime mover that stabilizes and gets us up, because then we're not using our abs at all. It's everything working together, the power of friendship. So with that, let's start lifting stuff off the mat. You're going to find that engagement on your next inhale. On your next exhale, forehead, head, and heart lift up off the mat. Now you're not going to go very far. That's okay. Only ballerinas are going to get crazy extension. I want you to think less about lifting up and more about lifting forward, like you're going to scoop into something to lift up. Someone's got a ribbon on your sternum and they're pulling it forward. Reach long to lift up and then keep that reach as you lower down. Let's try that 2 more times. Lift up, think reach long to come up, and lengthen to lower down. 1 more time like that. Lift up and then lower down. Now we add on. This is our challenge. We start to add the reach of the arms forward since we're becoming a swan Superman. You're going to lift your upper body up. Now from here, reach your arms long in front of you without changing the lift in your swan, and bring your arms back to your start position. Lengthen long in front of you, and bring them back in. 2 more times. Last time. Slowly lower down with control. Now we mix it up. Lift up into your swan. Reach your arms long in front of you. Palms face you. Lift your arms a little higher, maybe by your ears, and lower them back down. And lift up and lower down. 3 more times. 2 more times. Last time. Hands come to the forehead, you lower down. Holy moly. Now we go for full Superman. Alrighty. Let's go. I love having technical difficulties during my stream. It's not a stream without it. So now we did our upper body. Now we're gonna go for our lower body here. So we find that same position, that prep. I'm just pulling up my, cool, all right. We love technical difficulties. All right, we're gonna find that swan prep once more, and now we're gonna lift our lower body instead of our upper body. So the same position stays. Find your stance with your legs. More wide, more narrow, whatever works. I'm going to do a little bit of everything. From here, you lift your abs, draw your pelvis down. Squeeze your glutes a little bit and lift the legs up. You want to try and bring the thighs to a hover. And I want you to feel your hamstrings lift up more towards the ceiling and lower down. Like someone's got a string on the back of your leg and they're lifting it up. And lower down. And lift. And lower. Feel that same lengthen to lift here with your legs. So we're not just lifting up, we're reaching the legs long. One more time. All right, from here, it's time for full Superman. Woohoo! You're gonna look like you face planted on the mat dramatically. Your arms are going to come long in front of you. I like to do knife edge of the hands down, so pinky side edge down, because then I can kind of press into the mat a little bit, and that helps engage my back a little more, my back and my shoulders. I like that feeling. You can always do palms facing down, but be mindful of where your shoulders are. Think about those wide collarbones and setting the shoulders down the back. Now with all those things in mind, lift your abs, draw your pelvis down, light squeeze of the glutes. We lift the arms and the legs up. Now keep that reach away, fingertips and toes reach away. As you reach longer, can you lift up higher? And then lower everything down with control. Don't throw away the dismount. The dismount is part of the exercise, and it helps you get stronger, because if you can control the entirety of the movement, you're only getting more stable and stronger. So don't just flop down to the mat when we're done. Here we go. You reach your fingertips long, reach your toes long, lift your abs, lift up. Reaching long, can you lift up a little higher? And then slowly lower down, like you're reaching, stretching all the way to the opposite sides of the world. Let's take that again, lift up. And slowly lower down. Let's end here with a little Pilates swim in our Superman. You're going to lift up and then swim your arms up and down, trying to stay lifted in that position. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Press yourself back, find a child's pose. That was a lot of extension. You deserve a lot of child's pose. So take whatever feels good here in your child's pose. If you like the thread the needle, if you like to have the knees zipped together. I like to do a little tricep stretch in my child's pose. So you have your long arms, you can bend your elbows and let your chest fall through. And I like to rock side to side just a little bit. Breathing easy. Taking a moment. All right. Surprise. Come out of your child's pose and have a look. We're going to end with our leg series and then do a stretch at the end. And we'll focus on those quadriceps. But before that, we have our final part of class. So, take a sip of water, have a look at this poll, and pick a vibe for our leg series. Do we want to focus on hips or do we want to focus on stretch? And I should make it clear that when I say stretch with legs, I'm talking about that reach, getting a lot of length through the leg, and less about static stretching. So we will do a little actual stretching in that style of series, but it's going to be more about the reach, the length, the drama of it all. So what do we want to do? Stretch, all right. The Superman swimming, yes. Swimming has been one of my least favorite exercises ever. It's one of my least favorite Pilates exercises, mostly because it's hard, but it's really good for your back. And it's a good progression if you want to spice up your Superman. We're a swimming swan Superman. Try and say that 10 times fast. All right, let's go with stretch. So, we are going to lie down, whichever side. We're going to do both. And you have options. You can lie down on your bicep like a pillow, or you can bend at the elbow and support your head like so. Your tailbone, all the way to your arm, is going to be at the back edge of your mat, and your legs will be at the front corner of your mat. So you kind of look like a little check mark. You want to make sure that your hips stay stacked, one on top of the other. Because when they're not, we can't work our core as well. So you're going to find that stack of those hips. A little bit of lift or feeling of lift in the waist. From here, we take our top leg up to a hover. So aligning it with your hip. You're going to bring it forward, kick it twice, and then point, reach it back behind you. Get a little extension through the front here. Swing, kick, kick. Point, reach it back behind you. One more time like that, and then we change it up. We're going to turn this into a bicycle. Flex your foot, bring the leg forward. Now bend the knee into your chest. Grab your ankle and take a little quad stretch here. Squeeze that glute to bring the hip more into extension. Then from here, release the ankle. Take that top arm, stretch it over. Be a little drama with it. And then we swing back around and do it again. Bend your knee, take your quad stretch. And then release, reach long. Find a lot of length, stretch. And last time, swing it forward. Take your quad stretch. And reach it long. Bring the top leg down for a moment. We add on. From here, lift your leg. You're going to find a little external rotation here. So taking the top of the thigh bone, wrapping it up to the ceiling. From here, you're going to bend that knee into your chest. And as you extend it, you can just extend it or you can grab onto the leg. Give it a little stretch. Pull it a little closer to you. And then slowly release the leg down. Bring it back in. Lift it up. Release the leg and then with control lower it down. 2 more times. Bend it in. Lift it up. Maybe you're here, totally valid. Lower it all the way down. And last time. There we go. I wasn't aligned. See, I have to catch myself and then slowly lower back down. All right, from here, take your legs, return them to their stack position. You're gonna lift the leg up to a hover, and I want you to stretch that leg long. We're gonna end with some circles here. You're gonna draw a big circle. And the stretch here is in the reach. And then reverse your circle. From here, lower the leg down, bend your knees in, and we'll just swing to the other side. No funky transition. We've done enough funky things today. All right, top leg is gonna lift. We go for that kick first. Point, reach it back behind you. Flex, kick. And when you flex and point the foot, you do get a stretch through the back of the leg. And it's important to keep the mobility in our feet, right? Our feet do so much for us. We don't give them enough love. Now here, we swing the leg front, knee to chest, grab onto the ankle, take your quad stretch. And then reach, extend, swing it back around, kick, bend it in, take your quad stretch. Big breaths here. And extend. This feels so nice. Last time. Extend. And bring it to close. All right, from here we take our little ballet passe position. You find that external rotation of the leg. Bend the knee in, grab onto the leg, extend it up. And then release the leg, lower it down with control. Don't let it crash. Bring it in. Extend it up. Grab wherever you'd like. If it's here, whatever works. And then lower it down. I'm just giving you extra stretch. Bend, extend, and lower down. Last time. Can I grab my big toe? Woo! That's fun. And lower down. Flex the foot lifted up to a hover. Lengthen the leg to circle, like you're drilling a hole into the wall. And then reverse your circle. Lower everything down, and it's time to stretch. All right. You all deserve all the stretching from your hard work today. So from here, we're gonna take a figure 4 stretch. So I like to do this a couple of different ways. Sometimes I do it laying down, which is more traditionally seen, but we're gonna do it seated today. So you're gonna take your right leg, you're gonna cross your ankle right on top, not on your knee, but like an inch above your knee. And then from here, you can slowly narrow your stance to get the stretch in your hip here. So if you're here or here, doesn't matter, wherever you can find a stretch. I like this version sometimes because it's easy, especially if you're tight, it's easy to kind of tense up in the shoulders to try and get the leg to you. And then now we're tensing up the shoulders to try and stretch, and we don't want that. This, you can kind of keep your upper body a little more relaxed when we do it seated. You can also take one hand, press the knee away. And then slowly unravel your figure 4. We'll switch sides. So making sure that the leg that's crossed on top, flex the foot. It's going to give your knee a little bit more protection. And just hang out. A little bit of movement. And then unravel your figure 4. We'll do a little hip opener here. So, to start, it's going to be a very flattering front position. You're going to bring your legs in front of you. Hands will come behind your back. I have my fingertips facing away from me. It's up to you what you want to do. From here, all we're going to do is drop our knees to the right. I'm going to go to the right. And you want to find right angles with your legs. So finding little L's here. So I'm going to do an adjustment here. And then come back through center, switch to the other side. This is a nice gentle way to just get a little extra mobility in the hips. Let's do 2 more like this. This last time we're going to turn and hang out on the right side. So now we have our legs. They look like 2 little L's. And I'm going to try to square my hips towards my leg here. And now you've got some options here. You can fall over the leg. You can add a little twist. You can just hang out here if that feels good. And just take one big inhale here. One final exhale. And then we'll come up to sit, swing to the other side, take it on the other side. Finding what works. Just giving the glute and the side of the leg a little stretch. And then coming back through center. Let's add on. So we're going to do a little lunge here. So we'll come to our quadruped position. I'm going to start on my right leg, so I'm going to do this. You're going to take your right leg to the front. Left leg will come behind you. And now, up to you. If it feels better to take the foot a little wider and maybe slightly turned out, that's valid. If you want to bring it in a little more like a runner's lunge, that also works as well. Just find where you get a stretch. And since we have some sore quadriceps in the crowd, we're going to do a little quadricep focus here. So, what I want you to think about in your lunge is the leg that's long behind you. So that's my left leg. I'm going to squeeze my left glute a little bit. That's going to bring the front of my hip more into extension, and I'm going to feel more of a stretch through my quad. So I have that, my left glute is squeezing. Not crazy, but just a little bit so that I get an extra extension here through the front of the leg. And then from here, I'm going to lower down. I'm going to walk my foot out so that my hands can sit next to my foot here. Now for a quad stretch, I'm going to bend my knee behind me, reach my arm behind, and grab onto my foot, my pant, or just hold it there. If you need to sit up a little taller, you can do that. And take your quad stretch. So if you're here, that's fine. If you're more here, that's fine. You get a little twist here, and keep squeezing that glute a little bit to stretch the leg. Release your quad stretch. come back to your quadruped position and we switch sides. So I'll just stay on this side so you get a little bit of a different perspective. So in our lunge, I want you to think hips square and then squeeze that glute to bring the quad more into extension. It can be helpful if you're tight. If you have like a book, for example, or yoga blocks, you can put them next to you to keep your upper body more lifted if you feel like this is hard or can't touch the floor. And then lowering the hands down. You can also use your blocks here if you have a hard time touching the floor. We're going to move into that quad stretch. So that back leg will bend. You can grab on to your pant leg, your ankle, your heel, squeezing that glute to bring the hip more into extension. And I have pretty tight quads in general, so I can't go very low. So I'm just focusing on stretching and finding that point where I'm actually stretching and not just hurting myself. I'm finding that edge of stretch. So it's a little dynamic. Sometimes I have to sit back a little bit, push a little more forward. I'm not just going to sit in a shape and hold it if it's not feeling good on my body. Release your quad stretch, come back to your quadruped position, and then come to kneel. One final thing here, which can also be a fun quad stretch. You're going to tuck your toes under, and this will stretch our abs a little bit too, like I promised. So you're going to take your left hand, bring it to your left ankle. You're going to press your hips forward to get a little bit of a quad stretch. Take that top arm up and over. You can twist a little bit or you can stay square. And you'll get a little back bend, a little ab stretch, and a little quad here. Slowly bring your hand back. You can circle them around. And then grab onto the opposite leg. Think hips forward, chest up. If you want to drop your head, and come down. Let's do one more on each side. And slowly lower down last time. And back down. Final thing, if you want, you can stretch your legs out long behind you. Just take a big front stretch here. I like to tuck my toes under and kind of lift up a little bit so I can shift side to side. Get a little bit more of a side stretch. Press back into your final child's pose. Slowly roll up to tall. Draw your shoulders back. And you're ready for the rest of your day. Woo! Good job, everyone. I hope you enjoyed class today. Mixed it up a little bit. It's always fun to have a little conversation about what we're doing because I think understanding the oh my Lord, I hope it was still a good class. I love talking about the why of the exercise with you all. It's easy to, okay, good. I'm glad. So that's all I want. All I want to do is let you guys enjoy Pilates. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Yeah, those stretches, yeah, it's, especially if your quads are tight, can feel a little extra spicy, but I really like those because they kind of link up together and flow really nice. And you also don't need a ton of space to do them. So I hope it helped your sore quads. Cool. Well, yeah, so thank you all for being here. And I love, like I said, I love talking to you and answering your questions, and talking about the why of exercises is really important to me. Not just because I'm a teacher and I'm a geek for this stuff and I love talking about that, but it's important information for you all to have as movers, right? So it's important to understand why we do certain exercises and what's the point of them, because then why are we doing it, right? So please ask me questions, and let's talk about these things, and let me know what you want to see. I do this because, not just because I enjoy it, but because I want to make fun classes for you all. So you can follow me on social media at Move with Sarah, Move W Sarah. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I'm working on my TikTok. Oh my gosh. I feel so old when I'm on there, but I'm working on building that platform up. So if you have any TikTok recommendations, let me know. I'm a little lost. We do this class every Sunday at 10 a.m. EST, and then we do a monthly Cos Pilates, which is cosplay plus Pilates in a fun themed class every third week of the month. So this month is going to be Final Fantasy VII themed. I will be dressed up in a costume, and we will be doing some fun stuff around that. So stay tuned. If you want more updates on that schedule, you can follow me on Instagram, and that's where I post most of my channel updates. But other than that, yeah, every Sunday, I'm looking at Wednesday 2 weeks from now for Cos Pilates. So stay tuned. I'm very excited about this one. I did a whole exciting rant about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo at the beginning of class, so I won't bore you with it again, but I'm really excited about it. Final Fantasy is my favorite thing ever. So stay tuned. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you had fun, and happy moving. See you next week. Bye.